If your drive is formatted with NTFS or the resilient file system, both of those do have file and folder level security. What that really means is if you go to the properties of a file or folder, you will have a security tab that shows up. If you were to create a FAT partition, there is no security tab for FAT. That's the primary reason we don't actually use it. The permissions you have here can be applied to individual users or groups. Now, ideally, we would always apply these to the groups because that's just easier to manage. But I could simply go to Edit, add a group. They will show up here in the list, and then I can decide for this group, I want to give you a specific permission. So maybe I want you to have read. If you are a member of that group, that's the permission you would have for this folder and all the contents of that folder. The permissions we have, read. If you get assigned the read permission, you can view files. Meaning if you double click a Word document, the document will open and you can read the body of the document, but you can't make any changes or anything like that. Read and execute will let you view, so that part carries over, and you could run an exe file. Meaning if there was an application you wanted to install and it was in this folder, you could double click it and it would install. You could run a script, like a Visual Basic script or PowerShell script, where if you had read permission only and the folder had a script in it, the script would not run for you, and exe would not install. So those two are very similar, just allows an executable to run, but you can't make any changes to anything. You can't add or delete anything to a folder with either of those permissions. The write permission allows you to create. So if I wanted to create a file in this folder, write permission would allow you to do that. Modify, I typically say that this is like full control for my users. With modify, you get all the permissions above. So you can read, execute, create. So you can do all of that stuff. Plus, you can delete the entire folder itself. So if I had that modify permission, I could delete this marketing folder and it would disappear with all the contents in it. So the last permission we really care about is actually full control. Full control will allow you to assign permissions. That's typically not something a user would ever do. But if I have full control for this folder, I could go to the security tab, edit, and I could add another user or another group and determine what permissions they have, or you could edit existing permissions. Now the list folder contents, this not really a hugely important permission, does not really control access. But if you are in like File Explorer and you expand, say like the C drive, you can see all the contents on the C drive, like all the subfolders. List folder contents allows you to do that. You can expand a drive, so it's like in a hierarchy of parent folder, subfolder, and you could see all the content. Does not mean by itself that you could double click on a file and the file would open. You can just explore, like that hierarchical type view. The other interesting thing about this, well, interesting is the wrong term, but this is only a folder level permission, not a file level. I mean, files themselves, they don't have contents like in a hierarchical type fashion. So if you go to the properties of a Word document or Notepad or something like that, you will see all of these show up at the file level, but list folder contents is just a folder level permission. So pretty interesting concept and pretty straightforward overall.